Good afternoon, everyone. We want to give everybody a chance to get seated and also welcome you to City Hall right here in the city of Cleveland. We're honored to be joined by so many leaders and partners, many working daily to support the growth and development of young people. I want to take a moment to acknowledge our special and honorable guests. First, we'll start with our mayor. This is his event, Mayor Justin Bibb. Councilwoman Stephanie House-Jones. Any of our other elected officials who are here, my colleagues here from City Hall, and last but not least, almost last but not least, our special guest, Mr. Jeffrey Canada. And the last but not least are, of course, our young people. We have several of our youth leaders here with us today, and this is all about you. So it's great that you're here too. Today we're here to mark a major milestone in Cleveland's commitment to our future generations. This signing of our executive order by Mayor Bibb is going to establish the city's first municipal cabinet for children and youth. This cabinet is a bold step towards systemic change, a commitment to breaking down silos, improving coordination, and ensuring that every young person in Cleveland has the opportunity to thrive. This work has taken time and dedication, and a shared belief that we can and must do better for our children. The journey to this moment has had a couple of great steps. To fully appreciate that, I just want to tell you a little bit about how we got here. This journey began during Mayor Bibb's transition when the community recommended that we create a coordinating body dedicated to supporting the success of children and youth here in Cleveland. In the fall of 2022, the mayor launched a design process that engaged over 200 stakeholders, civic leaders, and most importantly, youth and their families to shape our vision. Their recommendations centered around finding the right size and structure, ensuring voices of our youth were at the center of all decision-making, and changing the narrative about how we talk about our young people, as well as how and why we invest in them. Since then, the mayor's office has used these principles to convene partners and take real action around critical youth issues. And I just want to share a few of these with you because it's not just an idea, it's a process that's been underway. First, we launched the Mayor's Coordinated School Safety Committee. This body brings together institutions to address before and after school safety, including the launch of our Community Safe Passages program. Then we focused on youth narrative change. So many of us talk about how our young people are visioned and viewed, particularly in media. So we led trainings and workshops to combat negative language and stereotypes that often shape public perception around young people, which then we know drives how we bring services to them. We also partnered with the National League of Cities to design the city's first prenatal to 3 plan. This agenda has been shaped by parents and caretakers to address economic mobility, environmental justice, as well as housing. And then last summer, we were struck by many communities across the country when our ESSER dollars were going away. And we collaborated with Cleveland Metropolitan Schools, the Teachers Union, and a number of organizations across the city to ensure not only that we would maintain 7,000 summer enrichment spots, but what we did was ensure many more, and we had 11,000 slots for our young people last year. So all of this has been culminating and leading up to our work today. With today's executive order, we're making it official, cementing this work right here at City Hall. This cabinet will be a vehicle for collaboration, first starting with aligning all of the City Hall agencies and departments so that we can connect with external partners along the way. At the heart of our work is our mayor, Mayor Justin Bibb, who has made it his mission to drive systemic change for all residents, but particularly our youth. Mayor Bibb has been clear from the beginning, this is a priority because Cleveland's children deserve to reach their God-given potential. So it's my honor to introduce our mayor, Mayor Justin Bibb.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia. I'm really excited about today because this work, for me, as a son of this city, is very personal. When I think about the conditions that I grew up in, there were people who looked out for me to make sure I had a quality shot at life. And I know we're celebrating Women's History Month this month, and there are two women in particular that I think about in terms of how I got to be here as the youngest black mayor in our city's history. First, my late grandma, Sarah. She was a stickler when I was growing up on Dove. And she made sure that I stayed out of trouble. And if she was out at church or going to pay the bills downtown, catching a bus to go pay those bills downtown, it was the neighbors who looked out for me when I was growing up. When those street lights came on, had to be in the house. When I wanted a summer job, she got a grant from a local nonprofit, working with her then council person. And one of my first summer jobs was working in my grandma's garden in the summertime. I think about the sacrifices that my mom had. You know, she was robbing Peter to pay Paul to make ends meet. But the little money that she had, she gave me the money to buy membership at the Boys and Girls Club. She made sure I was always in the library after school. And when I would pout and complain about singing in the church choir every single Saturday, it was that idea of being committed to something, so I would stay out of trouble, but also she wanted to ensure that I was always busy from sunup to sundown. And so this work is personal for me because my story is not the rule in our city. It's the exception. And we have far too many exceptions right now in our city. And so I said to myself, if I was ever lucky enough to be in a position of influence and power, that I would do anything I possibly could to make sure we change the conditions that our young people live in our city every single day. And as we look at the national landscape right now, we see two stark visions of the America that we want. In one vision, we are turning our backs on our nation's children, where this administration and this president just today, signed an executive order to eliminate the Department of Education, impacting 26 million kids, not just in big cities like Cleveland, but in rural towns across Ohio and across the country. Less money for free and reduced lunch. Less money for Pell Grants that help me go to a good college, and many of you in this room as well too. Less money for special ed in our nation's schools. That is not the America that I believe in or want for our children. But I got good news. Today in this great city, we are going to present an alternative vision of the America that I believe in and the one you believe in as well too. So with this executive order, we are making a commitment that every single department at City Hall will be focused on how do we improve the conditions of children in our city, from public safety to public works to public health to building and housing. Every single leader in this administration will now be focused on improving the outcomes of young people. And we went far and wide to look for experts and best practices across the country to give us a blueprint to do this work. And we reached out to someone I looked up to for years, Jeffrey Canada. Jeff has been a mentor and friend of mine for years. I remember I first met Jeff when I was just a young consultant out of DC working at Gallup. And when I read that New York Times article, and it said that the work he was doing in Harlem was the single most ambitious policy program this nation has ever seen, I knew he was something special. So without further ado, to talk about why this work is important, ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Canada. Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor Bibb. I sure hope I was nice to you when, this tells you to be nice to everybody, because you never know what these young people are going to grow up to do with their life, right? It's an honor for me to be here, Councilwoman, with you in Cleveland today. And it's especially important on this day because while everybody can be distracted by what's happening in Washington, D.C., Cleveland's children will be saved not by whatever's happening there. They'll be saved by what you all do here. And I don't care who's in the White House. If you all don't decide that this is an emergency and it calls for an emergency response, I will guarantee you that your children will not improve, not just here in Cleveland, but anywhere in this country. You know, the funny thing, I've been in education now this year for 50 years. I was looking at the mayor, I was like, wow, not only wasn't he born, his parents weren't even dating then, right? It's like, but today, this is the most difficult time for children in my whole professional career. Things were bad before COVID. After COVID, our children in this country, there's a state of emergency and people don't seem to believe it. People don't think you can keep doing what we were doing. By the way, what we were doing was not working, and now things are even worse. This calls for a new approach to working with young people. I used to think that Washington, in Harlem falling apart all around me, I'm thinking, this thing is going to hell in a wheelbarrow. There has to be an answer, but it's above my pay grade, right? So now, I've met a few presidents, a few secretaries of education, heads of health and human services. I thought they had the answer. You know what happens when I meet them? They say, excuse me, Jeff, can I talk to you? What do you think we ought to do? I'm like, y'all don't know? Nobody knows how to save Cleveland's children, except those of you here in Cleveland. And this is a moment, and I'm going to say this. If this is a moment where people start holding on to grudges, if people start remembering what didn't work in the past, if people start deciding this is the time to pay somebody back, I'm going to tell you who's going to suffer. It's going to be the children. People have to be held accountable, and we have to make sure these young people can succeed. So there's no difference between my kids in Harlem, your kids in Cleveland, in the poorest neighborhoods. We totally transformed that. I've got more than 2,000 kids in my 100-block area who already have degrees. I got 1,000 kids out of 10,000 in college right now. This is not rocket science. This can happen anywhere if the adults get their act together. The kids they're trapped by circumstances. They need our leadership. This is a leadership moment in Cleveland. And the question is, are people going to stand up and decide we're going to put our children first? And you know what? Paul Tuff wrote his book, it was Whatever It Takes. I'll do anything for my kids. I'll do anything for them. If you think this work is going to be easy and everybody's going to get along, that has never worked. There has to be a fierce determination to put children before any other interest if we're going to turn the tide. And I will say this in front of the mayor, in front of the city council, in front of the leadership. If you all come together and really decide that you're going to change the way things operate here in this city, Me and my team at the William Judith Wilson Institute, we will do anything that you ask us to do within reason to help make this a success. I'm committed to this effort in Cleveland. I met the mayor. He is serious about this. I believe him. I believe in him. And I think he has Cleveland's children at the heart of this. And it's the only reason I'm here. There's not one other reason I'm here in Cleveland, except I think you all have an opportunity to do something, by the way, which no other city has done in this country in its history, which is turn around sections of this community which are failing, one after the other. It's never been done before, but why shouldn't it happen in Cleveland first? So I know y'all expect me to be yelling at y'all this afternoon, but I can't help it. This is a moment of crisis. This is really a moment of crisis, and we all have to step up in ways we haven't done before, and we have to do whatever it takes to save Cleveland's children. I will tell you, if you want a partner, we'll be a partner. We're not asking for anything. We don't want anything. All we want is for your children to do better than they've ever done before. And we will help in any way that you deem appropriate. So I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Every time you invite me, I will come. I make that as a promise. And next, I'm going to turn it over to the councilwoman to say some remarks. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, beautiful people. How y'all doing? Good, good. I know we are in City Hall, y'all, but relax. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? This is your house. You can relax a little bit. So first and foremost, I am here on behalf of Cleveland City Council, right here and joining in partnerships. I see my colleagues in the room, Councilman Charles Slife in the back, as well as Councilman Danny Kelly in front. And Cleveland City Council stands ready to be a unapologetic partner on this initiative, because again, while there are days, there might be weeks, months, and maybe a year where we do not get along, Mr. Mayor, but when it comes to our babies, there is absolutely a shared and a unified purpose to understand that our babies have to be first and foremost in the work that we do. And we know that there has to be a pathway forward through our differences to find a way to create a bigger, bolder, brighter future for each and every one of the children here in the city of Cleveland. What does that look like? We absolutely know that takes all of us and more. When we think about the cross collaborations that are necessary to turn over a new leaf, a better leaf for our babies, that means for each and every one of you who are here today, that means, yes, you are signing up for whatever we embark on, right? And it means that, I always think, as I sit here in this place, Cleveland has been so good to me. It really is. When I think about being a baby, I was born in downtown Cleveland, made the transition to our St. Clair Superior neighborhood, had a long career at Cleveland School of the Arts when it used to be 4th through 12th grade. But during that time, I grew up in a neighborhood that experienced Kovacic Recreation Center, where I learned how to swim and had very many enriching opportunities. But just in life, my mom, she was married then, but then life happens and my parents got divorced. And then my parent, she found herself being the caregiver of not just only me, but 4 girls. And so 4 additional girls, which were my cousins. And so what do you do as a parent when you're working full time, find yourself, when you had the American dream with your husband and your 1 child, but then you find yourself single with 5 girls? What do you do? Where do you go? We then transition into our Huff neighborhood. And then, as young kids are, you get into things, right? We had Thurgood Marshall, but life happened. One of my cousins, she ended up being pregnant at the age of 15. I found myself, while I did well in school, I had some issues with fighting and things. And sometimes you might have to go to some places where some people might need to get you straight and narrow, right? But again, I had so many people in the community from my church home that poured into me. I still was able to find a way to be enrolled in the post-secondary enrollment option program, which now is called something else, College Credit Plus. That's what the program is. So I was a student. I still was afforded the opportunity to take college courses at Tri see when I was a student at Cleveland School of the Arts that afforded me some college credits, went on to college, and did a lot of great things. I'm sharing this with you is because my story shouldn't be unique. With our cross-sector partnerships, that should be the reality, no matter if you have the traditional family or life happens to you, right? Every young person in this city deserves the opportunity when you get off track, when you're on track, to know that you have a city that is cheering you on. That is what we're looking to do in Cleveland, and I'm really, really, really excited about this executive order so we can push forward. So again, to tell us more how we're gonna get this done, how we all are gonna find the pathway to sign up, I'm gonna pass it over to my sister, the Chief Sonia Pryor-Jones.
Thank you, Councilwoman, Mayor Bibb, Mr. Canada. All of you spoke to the intensity and the urgency of this moment. And you shared your amazing stories of what it's been like to grow up for you when a community came together to provide that support. Now we are going to hear from a youth voice, someone who is living in this moment that we are all here to support. One of the critical pieces that we also heard was very unique and distinct about our cabinet work here in Cleveland was the mayor's commitment to ensure student voice was not only at the table, but at the table helping us make decisions about what those programs and services are going to be and how we're going to collaborate. And so it is my great honor to introduce Yamari, who is a 10th grade student in Cleveland schools, to bring some remarks.
I can talk right here?
Yeah.
I'm so nervous.
Right.
I'm so nervous. Good afternoon. My name is Yamari Newhoff, and I'm a student at Garrett Morgan School of Leadership and Innovation, where we study topics such as public policy, civic engagement, and the issues of social justice. This is why I am very excited to represent my peers, my school, and our vision in this historic moment. Thank you to Mayor Bibb for extending the invitation, to Chief Pryor-Jones and her team for the timely communication, and all our guests. I would also like to thank my school community for believing in me to stand before you today. I remember attending the Youth Summit last year. It was that amazing experience that has led me here. The topics, engagement, and follow-up showed our city's commitment to empowering the next generation. Youth-centered decision-making is integral to empowering my generation to have a voice at the table on decisions that affect our lives and future. Having our voice ensures that we are addressing the relevant issues that affect us and empowers us to be leaders, therefore building better solutions, which is proven to create long-term sustainable models. By involving students like me and others, we are ensuring that the next generation feels valued and are better prepared to contribute positively to their communities and the world. I believe through today's actions, we can really begin to address the issues that impact the youth in our city and move to make effective changes that will go well into our future. I believe that in doing this, the youth will begin to see themselves as members of the community and not products from the community. It is my hope that as long as this order stands, that it will be a model for other communities to follow, thus creating a society where everyone can thrive. Now it brings me great joy to welcome Chief Pryor-Jones to the podium to officiate our executive signing.
Let's give Yamari a standing round of applause. Now at this time, we will prepare. Mayor Justin Bibb is going to be preparing to sign the executive order. I would request that our city directors and chiefs who are present come to join us, as well as our city council members, Dr. Morgan, Sherry Obrinsky, Sarah Alacott, Dr. Baston, Provost Niggemoff. as well as our guests from Harlem Children's Zone and National League of Cities.
Great. Get Lorenzo up front. Come on, Lorenzo.
Oh, Lorenzo. Where's Lorenzo?
Yeah, come next to me, bud. All right. We're ready? It's official. Well, while everyone takes their seat, I want to brag on Lorenzo for a minute. Last month, unfortunately, we lost a 10-year-old in our city to gun violence in the Lee Harvard neighborhood. Caden was his name. And a couple weeks ago, I had a town hall meeting at John F. Kennedy High School, and Lorenzo gave a powerful speech about the importance of making sure we as a city stand up for people like him to make sure he has a quality shot at achieving his God-given potential. He is why we're here today. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah, you want to say something? You want to talk?
So I want to talk about how we can remove the violence in the city. We need more mentors like Mr. Reeves how can I explain that? Yeah, to support the city and to help out all our kids in here and develop our reading and math skills. And that can help you. You can grow up to be a mayor, grow up to be what you want to be. And that'll help you. If, like, say if you a basketball player and the coach tell you a play, if you can't read it, you're not going to be able to play with the team. And if you can read it, you'll be able to do it. So I want everyone to repeat after me. You can do anything you put your mind to. You can do anything you put your mind to. And always keep your head up. And always keep your head up.
One more time for Lorenzo. Congratulations. That's the next mayor right there. And Belton, he's got his I Love Reading sticker too. There we go. Well, before we wrap up, just a few more folks I want to thank. I want to thank all of our foundation partners for their support by making this event possible. Also want to thank Derek Holyfield. Not only is he an alpha man, he's getting his PhD at Harvard, helping to lead this effort on behalf of the city. Derek, raise your hand, say hello to everybody. We appreciate you, brother. I want to thank Dr. Morgan, Sherry, and Sar for being here today, for all that you're doing to support CMSD and young people across the city. A great team moving CMSD forward. And then National League of Cities, if you can stand up and be recognized. Jamie and Laura, thank you so much for all your help and support. I really appreciate it. So, as Jeff often says in his remarks about this work, we are living in the fierce urgency of now. So today is a call to action for all of us in this room to meet the moment for our young people. Let's get to work. God bless. I appreciate everybody so much.